Hi, I'm Nettie Lagace. I'm Associate Executive Director at NISO, and I'm here today with...
Hi, my name is Simon Kerridge. I'm an independent consultant for Kerridge Research Consulting. There's a clue in the name as to how large my company is, not that big. I'm formerly a member of staff at the University of Kent in the UK, where I was Director of Research Policy and Support.
So we are here to talk about Peer Review Week and credit and identity with credit. So Simon, should or is identity be important to peer review? Why or why not?
Well, I mean, certainly peer reviewers should be acknowledged, rewarded, and indeed credited for their work, if you don't mind me saying that. Although there is some open peer review, much of it is still anonymized. So you hear a lot about reviewer two and the apocryphal tales of poor peer review. But I mean, conversely, the majority of peer review is extraordinarily supportive and useful and often contributes to the quality of the final article. So absolutely, yes, should be acknowledged.
Good. So can you describe CRediT briefly and what's in the taxonomy that relates to identity to peer review?
Sure. Okay. Well, I'll try. CRediT is the contributor role taxonomy. It's named specifically as contributor rather than author, as some of the roles are not normally associated with authorship, although, of course, many of them are. The current version of the taxonomy defines 14 roles. There's conceptualization, data curation, formal analysis, funding acquisition, investigation, methodology, project administration, resources, software, supervision, validation, visualization, writing the original draft, and finally, writing, reviewing, and editing. And of course, that last one specifically includes peer review. Normally, it's been used to cover the reviewing done by the authorship team, but there's no reason to restrict it to those named in the authorship list. Some of the other roles listed would not normally on their own be sufficient to merit authorship, for example, the funding acquisition, but those undertaking this role might well be mentioned in the acknowledgements. So peer reviewers are often acknowledged too, often anonymously, of course.
Yep. And so once CRediT is finalized and standardized, which we're doing now, what areas will CRediT look at for expansion, and how will peer review fit into this?
Yeah, so as I said, peer review is already part of the CRediT standard, but it might perhaps need to be extended to give more granularity to the input of the reviewers. So, for example, a reviewer might suggest an alternative or an additional methodological approach, and as well as the writing, reviewing, editing role, a peer reviewer would then also be credited with contributing to the methodology. I mean, one could imagine that a peer reviewer could, in some circumstances, accrue sufficient roles on an article that they would actually be credited as an author. Whether that's desirable or not is another debate. Anyway, as far as I know, there's no way of collecting this finer-grained reviewing expertise in a structured way, and so this could be the focus of the next iteration of the CRediT taxonomy.
Excellent. And assuming that peer review is selected by the CRediT community as a priority for future work on the standard, how can people get involved in that?
Well, I'm glad you asked me. It's very straightforward. Visit the CRediT web pages on the NISO site, so that's credit.niso.org. Click on Get Involved, or just email directly nisohq@niso.org. We'll add you to the list of interested parties and sign you up to the CRediT interest group.
Great. Well, thanks, Simon, and I hope everyone has a great peer review week. Take care.
Thanks.